You want to reach nearly a billion internet users, right? Well, to do that, you have to go through China. But here's the catch. The rules they just don't apply. Today, we're going to crack open the playbook for SEO for China and give you the map to one of the most complex and valuable digital worlds on the planet. Let's just start with this number because it's so big it almost needs its own slide. 904 million. That's how many internet users China had way back in early 2020. I mean, the scale is just staggering. And the craziest part? With penetration still under 70%, hundreds of millions more are on their way. That's the prize we're talking about. But here's the thing, and this is probably the most important warning you'll get. If you think you can just copy and paste your Google strategy, you are absolutely setting yourself up to fail. China's internet isn't just another market. It's a whole different digital universe. All right, so here's our game plan for this briefing. First, we'll quickly map out China's unique digital landscape. Then, we'll get to know the big gatekeeper, Baidu. After that, we'll unlock the 3 keys to success, and finally, help you figure out if the full, detailed playbook is what you need next. Okay, first up, let's get the lay of the land. The main thing you've got to get your head around with China's digital space is that it's not just a little different, it is a completely separate ecosystem, totally walled off from the web most of us use every single day. In this slide, it just perfectly shows that parallel universe we're talking about. Where we have Google, Facebook, and Twitter, China's got Baidu, WeChat, and Weibo. And look, these aren't just, some alternatives. They are the platforms, the homegrown giants in a totally isolated digital environment. So what does that mean for you? It means you just can't tweak your existing strategies and hope for the best. To win here, you have to build an entirely new approach, designed from the ground up specifically for China's platforms, its unique rules, and its users. So, who's the one in charge of this whole ecosystem? Well, that brings us to Baidu. Now, it's super tempting to just call it China's Google, but honestly, that's a huge mistake. It's way more dominant, and it operates with a completely different philosophy. I mean, just look at these numbers, 84%. That's not just leading the pack, that is a flat-out near monopoly. When you're talking about search in China, all roads lead right through Baidu. And on mobile, its dominance is even higher. And this right here, this is a huge difference from how Google operates. And it's something the book really highlights. Baidu actively and openly pushes its own stuff. What you'll see is that the search results are often jam-packed with Baidu's own services, like its version of Wikipedia or its own Q&A platform. And yeah, this also means Baidu has its own completely separate history of algorithm updates. So you can forget everything you know about Panda and Penguin. Over here, you need to know about updates like Hurricane, which cracks down on copied content, or Lightning, which boosts fast mobile sites. You're playing a whole different ballgame. All right, so how do you actually win this game? Well, that brings us to section 3, the 3 keys to success. The book does a great job of organizing the entire strategy into these 3 fundamental pillars. So the book really boils it down to these 3 keys to the kingdom. First up, you've got your foundational setup. Think of this as the technical and legal ticket you have to buy just to get in the door. Second is a totally tailored on-page strategy for Baidu. And third is all about building the right authority and trust signals for the local Chinese market. All right, let's talk about key number 1, the foundation. And let me be clear, this stuff is totally non-negotiable. For your site to even have a chance, you have to host it in mainland China. That means getting an ICP license, which means you need a local Chinese business entity. It's basically the cost of admission, both technically and legally. Okay, now this is one of the most surprising things I found in the book. You'd totally think a local .cn domain is essential, right? But just look at the data. .com domains make up a massive 75% of top rankings. It just goes to show you that even in China's closed-off ecosystem, the global trust that comes with a .com is incredibly powerful. Okay, let's dive into key number 2, your on-page strategy. And here, the little details are everything. Your content absolutely has to be in simplified Chinese. The page title? It's the single most important factor, and you got to keep it short, under 27 characters. And here's a fantastic pro tip from the book. Use pinyin, the romanized spelling, in your URLs. It's just way more user-friendly. And that brings us to our final key, building authority and trust. This is absolutely massive in the Chinese market. You got to make your business feel real and local. That means a Chinese address and phone number on your site. It means being available where your customers are, on WeChat and QQ. And it means using the payment systems they trust, like Alipay and WeChat Pay. Get all that right, and you'll start earning backlinks and maybe even Baidu's coveted official website badge. Okay, so that brings us to the home stretch, your playbook for China. Now that you've got the 30,000-foot view, the question is the full detailed guide the right next step for you and your business? So just to be super clear about what this was, this has been your high-speed briefing, the core strategy in a nutshell. The book, SEO for China, that's the comprehensive playbook. It's where you find all nitty-gritty details on how to actually execute all of this. The full playbook, on the other hand, goes way deeper. We're talking step-by-step guides on things like advanced keyword research, deep technical audits for Baidu, specific link-building tactics that work there, and even how to optimize for e-commerce giants like Tmall and JD.com. Basically, it's the how-to guide for the what and why we've just talked about. And all of this really leaves us with one big question. So after seeing just how complex this is, how unique the ecosystem is, and all of the specific rules you have to play by, is your strategy really ready for China?